Well, thank you everybody for coming. It definitely means a lot that you guys came. And then just like a quick reminder that if you ask a question, I can't see the chat, so you can just shout out any questions you have or save it till the end because I'll be taking questions then too. And then here's a little bit about me. Um, I'm a sophomore biology major, and I'm also trying to get my chem minor and a certificate in Spanish for the health professions because one day I hope to go to medical school. I'm also pretty involved on campus. I'm the Environmental Action Club vice president, and I'm in BFIE and a couple other things too. And here's a quick agenda for today's event. We're definitely going to be going over a lot of important stuff, and we'll get to upcycling at the end, which is definitely the fun part. I have a quick refresher on what environmental sustainability is. And overall, it just comes down to humans being more self aware of what we're doing to the earth, and that we not only need to drastically slow down our consumption of fossil fuels, but that we need to be more mindful of the pollution that we let into the air and the water, because our actions really don't only affect us, but the future generations. So, implementing and utilizing renewable resources is really important. Now, this event is on sustainable fashion. So, one of the biggest threats to climate change and the overall health of our planet is actually the fashion industry. So, like most major industries, they have a little regard to the environmental problems they create. And they're basically only worried about the profits that they make. And obviously, people can't avoid wearing clothes. So, you just have to be cognizant of who you choose to buy your clothes from because big name brands are some of the main contributors to the statistics that are on the screen. And from the statistics on the screen, I think the one that's probably the scariest is that every year 500,000 tons of plastic microfibers are dumped into the oceans, which is the equivalent of 50 billion water bottles. And that's a terrifying thing to think about. That's a lot of plastic that's being made from your clothes. Now, how does a multi-billion-dollar enterprise like the fashion industry make even more money? And the simple answer is fast fashion. Now, they do this by stepping up the pace of the design and production, and collections that are normally seasonal become a lot more like they come out faster. So, the replacement of clothing inventories has become much more frequent, and this leads to the exacerbation of negative environmental effects. And the cycle is also being done as cheaply as possible. So, consumers can buy lots of clothes for not a lot of money, but this means that companies have to take even more shortcuts so that they ensure they're also making as much profit as possible. Now, what does the fast fashion look like? These pictures shed light on how there are not only catastrophic environmental effects, but how the fashion industry leads to citizens of developing countries to be taken advantage of for cheap labor. And this keeps production costs low for the fast fashion industry, but it negatively affects them because obviously they're being barely paid enough to live, and that's not ethical. Now, this diagram explicitly shows how all of the horrible things that the fashion industry does stems from fast fashion. Points like waste accumulation are important to note because fast fashion basically tells the consumer it's okay to wear an article of clothing for one fashion season or less and then throw it out. And this causes billions of pounds of clothes to end up in landfills each year in the US alone. Not to mention all of the other clothes that other people are buying too, and just it adds up very quickly. And another crucial point is water consumption because it takes about 1,800 gallons of water to produce one pair of cotton jeans. And this is not only due to how much water is needed to just grow the jeans or grow the cotton for the jeans, but also the dyeing process that takes place is extremely wasteful in the amount of water they use. And the last point that I'll go over in this is soil degradation. And normally people don't think, oh, I'm just buying clothes. That doesn't affect the soil. But it actually causes like having to grow all of these things and the rate that you have to grow them, it causes very big problems for the soil. So 30 years ago, we might not have worried about this, but because how production demands have increased to keep up with the needs of fast fashion, farmers can no longer give the soil a break, and this leads to unsustainable agricultural practices, which eventually leads to the soil that is no longer fertile and cannot support life anymore. And effects of soil erosion go beyond the loss of fertile land. It's also led to increased pollution and sedimentation in rivers and streams, which clogs waterways and just leads to decline in fish and the species that rely on the waterways and the rivers. And because when the ground degrades, it also can cause flooding, and that can also be catastrophic too. Next, we're going to watch a quick TED Talk that talks a little bit about the fast fashion effects. Can everybody hear it?
It's going in and out.
What was that?
It's going in and out. The sound for it.
I can't hear her. Can you hear her? Do you want to type it in the...
Well, the volume's actually kind of low on it.
Okay.
Trying to see like the best way. Do you want to try to enlarge the screen?
Did that work for anybody?
Maybe you should turn off your sound.
Okay.
Well, like the mute button. And now try it. No, that's not working. If you would like, you can definitely like have like a link in the chat. Yeah, maybe trying it on YouTube instead would be best if you're okay with that.
Sure.
After an ad.
Can anybody hear that?
Yes.
Is that any better?
No, it's not. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're okay. I can put the link to the thing in the chat if that works.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Okay. Here. Chat. Just so that you can watch it. Because she definitely explains stuff a lot better than I ever could. So it's definitely important to watch that. We don't have to watch that. Do you want to watch that now on your own, or do you want to just skip over it?
Yeah, we can definitely take like a 10-minute break for everyone to watch it if everyone would like. And then come back. We'll still be in like the chat. Let me see if that would work.
I promise you it's not a boring TED Talk. She's pretty fun.
I'm wondering if like maybe if I share my
Yeah,
screen.
go for it.
Let's see.
Okay, so who's ready to talk about?
Did you guys hear that?
I can hear that.
That's so weird.
About fashion. Everyone close your eyes. Just for a moment, look into your closet. Count. How many t-shirts do you have? From promo t-shirts, from concerts, your girlfriend's bachelorette party, or that turkey run? How many jeans? How many pairs of shoes? Now, when you open your eyes, think about what you just pictured. When I looked into my closet, I had 116 t-shirts, 52 pairs of jeans. Yes, there were all different shapes and colors, but still, I had a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. How many people here could relate to that and have uttered those same exact words out loud to yourself? Well, needless to say, I've always had an interest in fashion and a passion for putting outfits together and looking and feeling stylish, whatever that may mean to you anyways. But 4 years ago, I started to wonder if fashion, like in food, was going to go through a sort of organic transition. I wondered if I could create the Whole Foods of fashion, a place where you could buy ethically made clothes that were good for the environment, but also stylish. And I asked myself, where does sustainability start? It was at this moment in my life that I realized that the number of items in my closet no longer had any value. Experiences, yes, but values, absolutely not. So I started researching brands that would be ethically made and sustainably sourced, and I had very, very little luck. I was asking them about their environmental impact and their supply chain. Trust me, at this time, nobody wanted to share about their supply chain or social impact, nor environmental impact. So I started to do a lot of research. Turns out that the fashion industry works in a take, make, waste model. We take from our environment with no hesitation. We make our clothes with very little regard for those who make it. And then, because the clothes hold so little value, we wear it once or twice, and then it's in the garbage. How do we put this in perspective? So if one t-shirt takes 2,700 liters of water to make, and we multiply that by the 116 t-shirts that I have sitting in my closet, that makes around 313,200 liters of water. Okay, great. That sounds like a lot of water, but how much water is that really in human perspective? So if we drink around 2 liters of water a day, if you're good, that means I have 429 years of possible drinking water in my closet. Not to mention that unfortunately, all of my t-shirts are not organic cotton, which means there's increased water pollution by the runoff of pesticides into the waterways of the local communities that also harm the health of those people living around the water systems. In the US alone, we have 25 billion pounds of textile waste every year. 15% of that gets recycled. The other 85% goes straight into the landfill. That's around 70 pounds per person of landfill waste sitting in this room. That is only the tip of the iceberg. We're constantly being bombarded by marketing campaigns telling us to shop more, that what we have is not good enough, without keeping in mind the human cost of fast fashion, which causes disasters like that of Rana Plaza, where 1,334 people died in the collapse of a garment factory in Bangladesh. Most of the victims, mostly women, they are at the most risk with the globalization of the fashion supply chain, with increased numbers of violence, negligence, and oppression. Now, while learning all these facts, what was I going to do with them? I needed to merge my passion for fashion and my desire to create sustainable futures. That's when I knew that education was the key. And when I started the Upcycle Project. The Upcycle Project is a platform that raises awareness on the waste that the fashion industry creates by making hands-on circular solutions for design students. Because sustainability starts with the designer. Working with students is an absolute magical experience. They know that their designs will have environmental, social, cultural, and economic impact. So we make them work with unconventional materials such as forgotten pieces from the dry cleaners, dead stock fabrics from different designers, and even bed sheets that no longer were used by different hotel groups. All of them truly embracing the sustainability lessons that we have to teach them. We've also worked with different hotel groups, and we recreate different products that people actually want to buy. If we have the foresight to be able to work with different hotel industries, imagine what we could do with other global industries. But now, what about us? What can we do on a personal level? So when you don't know what to do, I've learned that it's best to do nothing at all. And in my mind, that translated into stop shopping. So I said I was not going to shop for a whole year. I was going to wear and rewear the things that I already had. To put it in perspective, I went to fast fashion 6 to 7 times a month. It was easier for me to buy something new than to rewear something that I already had. How many people here do that? Absolutely. So I went to my closet empowered and I said, okay, here we go. Where's all my great clothes that I love so much? Well, I found out that my closet had major ADD. Why? Because it was filled with clothes that were just trendy, that were unaligned with my style. All of these clothes had no value. Sure, I went in there and I reworked some outfits, and some weeks I went and I just wore the same thing over and over again, white t-shirt and jeans. No surprise there. But it wasn't until I kept on working that I found that nobody truly cared about sustainable fashion. My family didn't care. My friends didn't care. They just wanted to look cute. Why was I going through this whole trouble? So I decided to break my shopping boycott and go into my favorite store and buy everything that my credit card could handle. Well, I went in there and I picked everything, and I went into the fitting room and I sat down and I tried the clothes on and I said, okay, where are these clothes going to take me? Not thinking about the clothes that I already had in my closet. And when that thought came to mind, I sat back down and I said, what do I value from these clothes? What is their purpose? Who made them? Is the brand story aligned with my values? And that's when I realized that no, the clothes had nothing better than the style and the price. So I put them on the floor and I left, empty-handed, but fully empowered. Now that I'm free, thanks to my shopping fast, I now look for brands that are transparent in their supply chain, who tell me who made their clothes, who have limited edition productions, who pay fair wages and give dignity to those who make their clothes, who use technology and strive for better design and better materials. Thanks to this shopping fast, I have saved money. I have reduced that I have nothing to wear anxiety. And I am free from the hollow brands and all those marketing campaigns that promise empty lifestyles and poor quality products. Now I invite you to close your eyes one more time and think about your closet. Where are those clothes going to take you? What do you value from them? And when you open your eyes again, think of what you truly value. Dr. Seuss once said, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And I stand on this stage before you today, and I tell you that it most definitely will.
That was fantastic. And I'm gonna stop my share screen, and Lexi, you can take it over, okay?
Okay. Alrighty. So before we move on from that, I just want to reiterate how important it is to look for company transparency, because sustainable fashion can't exist without transparency. And it's just a key precaution for industry action to eliminate human rights violations and to make sure that they're treating workers and communities with respect, and to help eliminate and reduce pollution and unsustainable resource use. Just because if they're willing to say where they get all of their things from, they can't hide anything. So you should definitely be suspicious if any brand is not fully prepared to tell you their complete supply chain, just because normally that's where they're going to hide a lot of stuff. So here's 10 tips to not fall for fast fashion. So number one, ask hashtag who made my clothes. Now this is actually a pretty big movement, and it's a nonprofit made by people who have worked in sweatshops and have firsthand experience of what it's like to be the person behind the clothes. So that's definitely enlightening and makes you kind of think twice before buying something. Number two, buy clothes that are made to last and whose quality might make it a little more expensive, but it would allow you to buy less over time, so you'll save money in the long run. Number three, take the 30 wear pledge. So if you see a garment you like, ask yourself, would you be willing to wear this 30 more times? Or even ask yourself, is the quality high enough that it will last in the washing machine 30 times? Number four, shop charity and thrift shops. And this might be a little hard in the current times, but there are online thrift stores such as ThredUp, and this is also a really great, cheaper alternative. And five and six are just be more mindful of the materials you're buying. So some cool fabrics that they've been making is monocell, and that's actually made of bamboo, and tencel, which is made from a fiber pulp from trees that are grown in specialized tree farms that are completely sustainable. And then to steer clear of fabrics like polyester because they're synthetic and they are basically the reason why there's so much pollution in the water. And then even materials like cotton and wool, I would try to only buy them if they're recycled just because the way that they produce them is very unsustainable and uses an insane amount of water. And then number seven, when you're going into shopping, don't buy and just say that you're going to donate it later because that's still not an ethical way to shop. Um, and then number eight and nine, if you have some favorite brands that you're not willing to part with, definitely research them and maybe think twice about, say, well, I'll show you a bunch of brands that you probably shop at, but they're definitely not the best. And then 10, if all else fails, upcycle. So here are the 10 biggest fast fashion brands. I'm almost positive that you guys have heard of at least one of these. So a quick little history fact about fast fashion. Zara was actually the first brand to start using fast fashion. And companies like Forever 21, who are like notorious for their fast fashion, have little to under a 10% fashion transparency rating on like their fashion transparency index. And this has caused them to actually file for bankruptcy because people are finally starting to see that when a company disregards its environmental like impact, that they probably shouldn't shop from them. So they've definitely had problems. But because of this, that people are starting to notice these things, brands like H&M that are normally considered a fashion brand, they actually started a garment collection program where, according to their website, you can drop your bag of unwanted clothing in the recycling boxes at your local store, and all textiles are welcome, any brand, any condition, even old socks, worn out t-shirts, old sheets. And the textiles are then sent to the nearest recycling plant where they can be sorted by hand. And for every bag of textiles you drop off, you'll receive a discount card for 15% off your next in-store purchase. And this just shows that some fast fashion brands kind of see the problem that they are, and they're taking a step back and trying to become a little bit more sustainable. And then next slide. This is some of the more sustainable brands. Notice that I organized them from price range per item and that they're a little bit more expensive compared to like your average H&M or Forever 21, but that's because the quality and the amount of work they go through to make sure that nobody is being harmed and that the environment is not being destroyed because of what they're doing. And often people would think that all of these brands are out of their price range, but there are options like Klarna, which allows you to make like scheduled payments after you, so you don't have to pay it in one lump sum. So that makes it a little more attainable to people. And then, so then next we have upcycling. And if sustainable fashion is still a little out of your price point, this is definitely a great alternative because it's almost free if you take it from, if you're taking clothes that you already own or upcycling thrift store finds. And basically the process is just you reuse something that you already have or a recycled alternative and you make it into a fun new product. And this can be as simple as painting a design on a boring pair of jeans or cutting an old t-shirt to make it something that you would wear to the gym or something like that. Or even if you have sewing skills, the sky's the limit to what you can do with anything. And then overall, just make something that makes you happy and that makes you a little more confident when you wear it compared to how you felt in it before. And then I do have another short video. We only have to watch like the first 3 minutes of it or so. It just goes over a couple fun ways to upcycle some old clothes. If you want to share your screen and have me stop sharing.
Yes. If you want to drop it in the chat.
Yeah, sure. Really fast. Ooh. Okay. There you go.
It's no soda. Hey, baby. Hi, everyone. I'm Angelina, and this is Blueprint DIY, where we make our clothes to be just as unique as us. Today, I have 11 ways to completely transform your old clothes without sewing. Completely no sew, no hand sewing, no sewing machine, and I know you're gonna love them, so let's get right into it. All right, so let's start off with t-shirts. I know you have a ton of t-shirts, and I have 4 really cool ways to transform your t-shirts without sewing. Number 1, I actually have it on, and it is this amazing shoulder pad t-shirt that is so popular right now, and you can absolutely do it without sewing, even making your own shoulder pads. And it's super simple, and I absolutely love how just this simple padding completely elevates a t-shirt.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that say stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up.
Next up is bleach tie-dye. And what do I mean by bleach tie-dye? Basically, you're removing color from your shirt. So you're not just working with white shirts, you're working with any color shirt other than white, and you're using bleach to remove color from it. And you can do it with any type of t-shirt. I did it here with this Adidas t-shirt that I got from a thrift store for like $10. And so I didn't have anything to lose, and I absolutely love how it turned out. I was trying to match it specifically to these pants, and it turned out perfectly, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. All the links to the full tutorials for everything I'm talking about is in the description box below. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to turn on all notifications so you don't miss a thing. Definitely share this video with everyone you know. That person that wants to learn how to upcycle, that person who wants to get into upcycle, that person that's been upcycling for a while. Share this video on all your social media so everyone knows all the amazing stuff going on here. All right, now back to the video. Number 3, a layered top. With this top, I absolutely love that I was able to just use scissors. Yes, scissors. I started off with this super big t-shirt, snipped it, folded it, and I got this. I know you don't believe me, but I promise you it was only scissors. Go check it out and see for yourself. I'm done with guessing. I know things will change, and life is staring me in different ways. I gotta find my place. I gotta find my place. And then, since I was able to do that top, I thought to myself, let's see if we can add another layer to make a more ruffled top. And that's exactly what I did. I still used one t-shirt for this, but cut an extra layer, snipped it, used t-shirt yarn to weave through there, cinched it in a couple of places, and there you go. An absolutely amazing no-sew tank top that used to be just a regular t-shirt. All right, so next up is another one of everybody's favorites, jeans. Yes, you can do some amazing jean upcycles without sewing. First, I'll show you my ribbon side jeans. And I actually did a little bit of sewing for this one, but you absolutely don't have to. Just cut some slits on the side of your jeans, weave some ribbon through there, use fabric glue to secure it at the top, and you're done. These give such a statement. You can use a pop of color like this lime green that I use, or absolutely anything that you want to. It can even be another strip of denim.
The feeling lingers on every day of every month. Wishing I just could forget about you. The weight upon my bones makes it harder to move on. Oh, baby.
And speaking of striped jeans, why not take some washi tape and some fabric paint and paint stripes on the back of your jeans? I absolutely love this one. I was inspired by another piece and I decided to do like the Black national colors. And I absolutely love the statement that these are making.
Don't take it personal, but I ain't lying. I ain't hiding, I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away.
And then if you have a pair of jeans that is too big, I know whose jeans are too big. I like to thrift my jeans, but just in case you might be able to steal some jeans maybe from somebody else in the house, take some grommets. You can order these on Amazon. These are actually curtain grommets. Take some grommets and add them to the waist of the jeans and then weave your belt through and cinch the waist. It's an amazingly fashionable way to take a pair of big jeans and make them fit you.
You wanna ride on my wave just because it's fun. You wanna be in my space, too close to the sun, don't seem to care if it's safe. Well, that makes two of us. I'm so insane, and you like it.
And next up is workwear. Yes, you can transform some of your old workwear in a no-sew way. Here I have these shorts that I absolutely love, but they were just not quite what I wanted. So I was inspired by these shorts by Jacquemus. And I absolutely love that I was able to cuff these shorts in a no-sew way, just using a little bit of heat and bond and an iron. Yes, absolutely. And be able to make them exactly the length that I personally wanted. That's what I love about upcycling. You can do it specifically how you want it. So these red shorts are absolutely one of my favorite no-sew projects today.
Don't think I'm ready for you. Don't think you're ready for me either. I know you've been with her too long. It's okay, I'm just saying. What if she told you that she still likes you?
And you can absolutely crop your blazers as well. We crop those pants, now we're cropping blazers. And we're using basically the same technique, just some heat and bond and an iron, and we're turning it under and securing it. And now you have a cropped blazer that costs you nothing because you could have just pulled it out of your wardrobe, and it's super fashionable and you can wear it to work. But then this is also an amazing piece to wear out.
I know the reason why we chose to say goodbye, but I can't help my feelings. Right now, I can't deny you never left my mind, and now my heart is beating.
And if you're interested in learning more about upcycling, I do have a monthly upcycle class with the highest level of my members only group. So definitely hit that join button to learn more about that. And I do have a free Facebook group where it's just a bunch of upcyclers on Facebook that love to share.
I'm just gonna pause it there. Just so
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
her or anything, even though everything that she has shown us was, I was really impressed with it. Like that was
Yeah, it's oddly impressive how she does all of that stuff. And, plus I love how confident she is in all of those things, just because even stuff that like I've made, it never comes out as amazing as what she does. But it's definitely still amazing. And then to conclude, the fashion industry isn't going to make the changes necessary to be completely sustainable unless we push them to. And the environment obviously is not going to fix itself. So we have the responsibility to keep our planet safe and healthy for the generations that will come after us. And at the end of the day, you don't have to sacrifice looking cute or break your bank account to achieve environmentally friendly fashion. And then any questions? So do you want me to take it out of screen share? Would that be better for questions, I guess?
Because you will be answering the questions. But one question is, what are some items that you have upcycled?
All right. So, luckily I have them next to me. I know, shocker. So here's one thing. Obviously, I'm not as talented as that lady. I do the simplest things that I know how to do. But I took a pair of like Walmart sweatpants that I've had since I was like 13, and I turned them into just like shorts, like sleep shorts. So that's a fun way to not have to throw out a pair of sweatpants to get a new clothing item. And then I love turning older t-shirts into just like cropped shirts you can wear to the gym. So I took one of my old Rutgers shirts and I did the bleach dye to it on half of it and just cropped it so that it's just like a fun shirt that certainly nobody else has because I made it. So that's a fun thing to wear to the gym. And then my favorite thing that I've done is I'm a big fan of the bleach dyeing or reverse tie dyeing. And I did this one to a Rutgers sweatshirt where it's just, just it looks like acid wash almost, but it looks like you could buy it like that. So that's always fun.
That's very impressive. Yeah. So if anyone else has any more questions, really up to you. And then I do have one more question. Why exactly did you choose this topic?
Honestly, I've always been pretty invested in environmental sustainability, hence why I'm like the vice president of the Environmental Action Club. It's just one of my passions. And growing up, my sister is definitely a big shopper, and she never really thought about how many clothes that she had and the effect that it has. So just like enlightening her and then just my friends, and they've kind of seen how bad it can be and what it leads to. So it's just also a fun thing to talk about. Like upcycling is pretty fun. So
Do you have any tips on beginners trying to upcycle?
less is definitely more. I have gone way overboard on some shirts where I cut it way too much, or I went a little crazy, and then you feel a little self-conscious when you go to wear it, or unless like you love crazy fun clothing. I'm definitely a more like subdued style kind of person. But yeah, definitely start slow, and then once you get comfortable doing it, it's a lot easier to work for more complex things once you have a couple simple things under your belt.
It's a really good point. Does anyone else have any more questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. My name is Aisha. I'm here on campus too. I'm a political science major, and like when it comes to like sneakers or the sneaker industry, is it the same when it comes to like the amount of waste that is produced?
One of the biggest bad companies is actually Nike. They don't talk about it just because of how big and global their company is, but considering they're making billions of sneakers, the waste from that is insane. And there could be a whole nother PowerPoint presentation on shoes. So yeah, definitely it's just as bad as the clothing industry. I hope that answered your question. Sorry. Can kind of hear you a little staticky.
We can't really hear you too much.
I'm sorry. You can type it in the chat though. I'll definitely be able to answer it if you can type it in the chat too. I can kind of hear you.
I would recommend taking out your like AirPods if you're able to, and just like have the laptop volume, like using the laptop audio. I know like when I'm using my AirPods for class, like it definitely does like have a little staticky reception to it. But if you're able to, I would definitely, if you want to like say it, take out the AirPods or like stop the Bluetooth in order to do it. Okay, yeah, that's no problem.
Okay.
In the meantime, we can still answer, Lexi can still answer some more questions though.
Okay, it disconnected. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
My AirPods just like I kept on trying to disconnect them and they weren't disconnecting. It was just like staying, even though I didn't have them in my ears.
Yeah, I think you have to like either like be like separated from them or something, or like put them back inside like the case. Like I have the same problem sometimes. I totally understand, but we can definitely hear you now.
Okay. So earlier you said that there's like a store that allows for like you allows you to drop your clothing off and like to recycle it. What store was that earlier? H&M. Okay.
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure. I thought you said that, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, it's actually a new thing that they're doing. My sister actually, because I had her read my presentation for me, she was like, "Did you know about this?" And I was like, "No, that's amazing," because I initially had them as one of like the horrible brands because just how quickly they change over their inventory. But yeah, it's really good that they're taking all clothes and like all textiles, not just like old H&M stuff. So that's really cool because they also give you the discount. So that's definitely really cool.
Okay, and then what's your opinion on like donating clothes? Because a lot of like my old clothes from when I was like little, like my family normally does like the clothing drop. I know you said like not to say like to when you get it, I'm gonna donate it later. But like a lot of like my old clothes that my parents like bought from when I was little, I've been like donating that.
It's if it's clothes that like physically don't fit you like from your childhood, a lot of times when you donate them, like it still will go to a person who will appreciate it. So if you're donating it to like Purple Heart, that's good. Or what's that big thrift store? I don't remember, but
Talking about
Goodwill. Goodwill doesn't have an amazing track record with that because sometimes they're definitely making more profits on things that should be given for, I don't know, they're not the best anyway. But I think the problem is when you go into shopping thinking that, oh, this doesn't apply to me because I'm going to donate it. You're still buying from people who are causing environmental problems. So it's easier to just kind of skip those brands and try to find places that are a little more sustainable. Because if everybody has the mindset that, oh, I'm just going to donate it later, people are still going to be buying from them. So while you might be avoiding it going to a landfill, or at least not directly going to a landfill, because it still might end up there one day, it's still a better option to just go straight to the sustainable brands.
Really good point. I had no idea. I had heard about like negative components of goodwill for their like labor. I'd never really heard anything about how they're not as, I guess, transparent about like the clothes as much.
Yeah, it's
Like something I want to look into.
yeah, you have to look into almost everything nowadays, which is terrifying because almost everyone's hiding something, unfortunately. But the brands that on the presentation, they will explicitly tell you every single part of their supply chain and like how much their workers are making and where exactly their workers are working. So because brands like Nike, they have workers in like Bangladesh where they're like in horrible conditions where some people even die of heat stroke. And that's not, to me, it's not worth buying a pair of Nike shoes for children in Bangladesh to be making my stuff. So I don't know. Although I do own a pair of Nike shoes. It's so hard to avoid it though. So I don't know. I'm not like, nobody's perfect with this kind of stuff.
I think the overall, I guess, like most important thing is definitely making small changes because, you know, starting like a whole new lifestyle of, you know, being sustainable is not as easy as it seems. Just because like we've been, you know, we were born in this industry. Everything surrounding us definitely is, you know, made for us to like stay as consumers and to constantly have this like cycle within that consumer and distributing system. So definitely a good point of like, it really is hard to avoid big brands like Nike, anything like that. But I definitely feel like overall, as long as it's making a certain percentage of an impact, and then progressing from there, definitely a lot better than doing nothing for sure.
Yeah. And then like another big thing you can do is trust like contact brands and because unfortunately peer pressure does work with these kind of things. So if enough people threaten to not buy from their stuff anymore or do stop buying from their company, they're going to be forced to make these changes. Otherwise, they're going to go bankrupt, just like Forever 21 is dealing with. So if enough people are educated on how they operate, they're going to have to make the changes. So that's another thing to think about too.
I had a question actually. You said you're a part of the Environmental Action Club. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a club on Rutgers campus, obviously, and our whole thing is just to raise awareness and kind of our big thing is like letter writing campaigns, just because obviously we can't be on campus now, but when we were doing like planting trees and like all of that kind of stuff. And if you go on our Engage page, you can read like our entire thing. It's definitely written out well there instead of me trying to stumble through it. But yeah, we would love to have you come out. We're actually doing if you obviously you guys have probably heard of lantern bugs, like the spotted lanternfly. We're doing a contest where you stomp as many as you can and you take a picture of it when you kill them. And we're having a contest who can smush the most, like a smushathon. And the winner who smushes the most gets a $25 gift card. So yeah, definitely come out to our next event with all of your smushes.
I think it's best that you explain why it's important to kill.
They're an invasive species and they're running rampant in our area because when they came over from Asia, they actually were introduced to Pennsylvania, and within the last year, they've come over the Delaware, where they're now just wreaking havoc on hardwood trees, which is what they eat and they lay their eggs on. And they're just a really bad agricultural pest. So they don't hurt people, but they're very bad for hardwood trees. So yeah. quick lesson on lantern bugs.
Had like a explanation of like the lanternfly, and then in like bold caps it was like, if you ever see this, use this card, use anything to kill this bug. Funniest thing ever, because it was like, use all forces to kill.
Yeah, because they're crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys have like been near one, but they jump really high and really far. So when you try to smush them, either they're gonna jump at you or away from you, and it's always a gamble what they're gonna do, but it's always really fun to kind of go after them, which is bad to say, but they're bad, so it's okay.
Does anyone have any more questions? Or Lexi, do you have any more points that you want to make?
Andrew, you can go ahead. I think you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like I've seen like a lot of lanternflies. Like I live in New Jersey in the Burlington area, and like the last week, like there's literally at least one every day that we encounter in like my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So like either like one of my family members is always trying to kill one, but like sometimes you can even hear them land like
Yeah,
on
like
your
they're
window or
big.
something. Yeah, they're massive. That's why I'm like, oh my gosh, like what the heck? So I mean, we try to contribute that much, but I know they're definitely an invasive species. So
Yeah. And then it's also important to note that when they're like in their like baby phases, I guess you could say, they actually kind of look like ladybugs. So you have to like when you see little bugs that look like ladybugs, look at them closer, because that's like a like defense mechanism almost, like a camouflage, so that you don't want to kill them because you think that they're it's like it's a pretty ladybug. Like no, it's a lanternfly. Squish it. So yep.
I didn't catch it either. What like year are you guys in at Rutgers?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay.
So I'm actually a graduating senior, actually interning. I think I like froze. Actually interning with the Honors College. So I had like an open credit course. So either I was gonna like do it with a like, you know, like an easy art class or something, or I was talking to Laura Collins, who has been absolutely amazing throughout this whole entire process. So I'm just like working with her and, you know, conducting and like monitoring these events. So it definitely makes it easy to have it count towards Honors College as well as my one credit course. But yeah, she has been absolutely amazing. Highly recommend. Mainly designed for seniors, just because like I helped Lexi like edit the presentation, just so it was like a better flow. So if you have more experience within like your college years, it's definitely best. But yeah, she's really super like amazing. I don't know if anyone is like her counselor or like advisor, but what's it called? So mine's only one credit, so I only have to do 3 hours a week, which is pretty easy. But you can do up to 3 credits. So highly recommend. A lot of fun. Definitely an easy A, if you know what I mean. Like no papers or assignments and anything like that. So yeah, I really love it. And also like a great opportunity to like have this like advising as well as like what happens behind stage of like campus events, as well as yeah, just like helping out with students in the more like academic professional role. So if you're wanting to get into like, you know, teaching or, you know, anything along those lines, like advising, highly recommend. Super easy to do, even if you want to just do it you know, on the side, if you don't like need an extra credit course or anything like that. Yeah, and it's also open for like any major as well. When is the GPM? What is that?
The next general body meeting for Environmental Action Club. Is that what you mean?
Okay.
Okay. It's I believe it's November. Hold on, check. I think we're still setting it up because we actually had our last one yesterday, actually. So if you join our Engage, you'll get a notification because we post on there pretty often. And then we also have an Instagram if you want to follow the Instagram, because we put updates on there too. So I'll put the name of it in the chat. And then we are actually going to collaborate with the what's it called? Oh my goodness. The Political Science Society for the upcoming election, because obviously between the two candidates there are very big differences between their beliefs in like climate change and that kind of thing. So they invited us to come and talk with their like board for their event, and just talk about how that should be a part of like who you vote for, I guess. But yeah, I'm putting the name in the chat. It's a pretty easy name, if you want to follow them. But we are a pretty new club, so we don't have like a huge amount of members, because we were actually just started last year around this time actually. So plus once we get back on campus, whenever that happens, we're gonna have some more really fun events, because obviously you can do more stuff when we're in person. So
that's a really good point. As well as there's actually are quite a few honors college campus activities that are focused around creating your own club. So if you're into environmental, I definitely recommend joining the club that Lexi is part of. But if you're more into the fashionable part of sustainability and want to just focus on that solely, we do offer campus activities, honors approved, that do focus on exactly how to make a campus organization.
And then another big thing that the Environmental Action Club does is letter writing campaigns. And I know part of the Honors College requirements for what is it, service, I think, is writing a letter to a local representative. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe.
But you can come to one of our campaigns. Because we took the Honors College template for what they require, and we'll do that with you and like show you how to do the perfect letter. So yeah, that's also a really good thing about Environmental Action Club. We'll help you with that.
Awesome.
So,
any final questions before we depart? All right, so thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you guys so much for coming, Lexi. That was a very informative, very knowledgeable presentation. I am, just definitely have a lot of takeaways that I definitely want to, apply to my life now. This went absolutely, fantastic. Thank you guys so much. This was really awesome. And this does count for an honors event, so congratulations, guys. One down. There are quite a few campus activities coming up, so keep a watch out for that. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you. That was a great presentation, guys.
Thank you. Well, that was less scary than I thought it was going to be.
Was amazing. Oh my God, that was so well. Definitely a little like on like the technical difficulties, but I'm pretty sure I can just like edit that out. And then as well, I'm going to be like editing out some of like the Q&As that aren't focused on this event. And then editing. So the whole thing is recording right now, especially even right now as well. So I'm going to be like editing out the transition to go to like the video on my end, just so it's like a better like flow. And I really hope that like you're proud of this. Like this is really amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I definitely once I got my whole slideshow figured out, I was definitely a lot less like nervous about it. Plus having like, because I had like 9 pages worth of stuff to read, that also really helped. Just to keep kind of on track, I guess. I don't know, but I am proud of of
Yeah.
how it turned out.
I was so happy with how everything went. Like, this is really amazing. And I really hope like you keep using beautifully, because like it really did a beautiful job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm so
Well,
happy.
thank you for all your help, though. I definitely.
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, it's just kind of glitchy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know if I.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, but if you have any more questions, like I'm graduating this year, but you still have my email. If you have any questions along the way, or any help, if you ever do intern for the honors college, like hit me up. It's definitely was like a big question with technology wise, but I'm definitely always here to help.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, have a good day.
You too.
Bye.